Hi, good morning, everybody. So today we're interviewing the lovely fashion blogger Shloka, who is known as the Silk Sneaker on her many channels, and we're going to be talking about the trends that she is into and her tips on fashion blogging. So welcome to Style Counsel.
Thank you.
Thank you. So first of all, I'm really curious about the name, the Silk Sneaker. How did you come up with that?
I feel like I spent so long trying to figure out what I wanted my blog to be because I didn't want it to be my name, Shloka, because that's just very difficult for most people to say. But I also wanted my blog to touch on my heritage because I am Indian. I grew up in India and lived there for 18 years. So silk came from there because India is the biggest exporter of silk. All our saris are silk. It's one of the most luxurious fabrics in the world. And sneaker came from the fact that I wanted to also highlight that, I'm a modern woman, I'm into other things. Of course, my heritage defines my style, but so does where I live now. Sneaker seemed like something a little bit more urban, so that's where that came from, and I combined them to kind of touch on both the areas of my style.
Well, that's so beautiful. So we've got heritage, we've got history, and then we've got the modern woman, which actually brings me on to my next question, which you've slightly answered. How would you describe your style?
I'd say it's classic in some respects because I tend to stick to classic palettes like black, white, nude. You can never go wrong with just like blue jeans and plain white shirt. You can never go wrong. But at the same time, I am somewhat trend driven, that I like to experiment with my style. I like to try new things. I like to layer in unique ways and play around with accessories. So it's classic, elegant, yet trendy.
I like that, and I'm liking the layering today.
Have to layer, it's way too cold.
Yeah, it's a cold day, and pulling off a really fashionable look in the cold is a challenge. So well done.
Thank you.
So moving on, let's talk about the trends that you were seeing today. You're saying that you're somewhat trend driven, but also elegant and classic.
Yes.
So what trends today do you want to adopt, and how do you wear them?
I think my favorite trend right now is velvet. I've always loved velvet. There's something so luxurious about velvet. It just feels so luscious. So I love velvet, and I have a pair of velvet boots that I'm obsessed with.
Velvet boots?
Yes. But it's very hard to wear when it's raining, but that's fine. So very into velvet right now. There's a lot of military aspects to all the trends that I've been seeing very recently. I see that right now for fall winter. I see it coming up for spring summer. Quite a few embellishments and the jackets and the way that is. So quite like that. There's a lot of vinyl and leather, which I love.
I can see that.
Yes, I've got my leather jeans and my leather boots, and so I'm very much into that right now as well. Yeah, and there's quite a bit of just shine and glitter that's quite consistent every season. You see that with fall winter. It's the Christmas season, it's the holiday season, party season, and everyone wants to get their sequins out, and I love a good sequins dress or something like that. So
awesome. So are you going to be buying any of these trends or sequins dresses in the Black Friday weekend, or or do you not succumb to the madness?
I surprisingly don't succumb to the madness. I'm a really responsible shopper, very good that way. But I might. I've had my eye on a couple of things, so I might.
Okay.
But when I do shop, I also try and go for pieces that are more classic and that will last me longer. So if I do buy something velvet, I might, I have those velvet boots, I know that they'll last me a lifetime, or I buy a velvet blazer, something that's like a classic piece, not something that's too trend driven that I can't maybe use again later, or just try and incorporate it into my style in a different way. Because once the trend dies, I still want to be able to get as much from the piece as I can.
So a sensible and sustainable approach to looking fabulous and fashionable. So how did you get into fashion blogging? How did you start it? And because now you're just rising in your popularity.
Well, I used to be a film student when I first came to university, and I decided to make a switch from film production to business management, which is just two ends of the spectrum. And when I started doing business management, as much as I loved it, I did marketing as well. It was great, but at some point the theory and the textbooks. I had no creative outlet, and the part of me that missed film production just wanted to do something. When I studied film, I always wanted to get into fashion films. And I thought, okay, well, I have nothing to lose. I like fashion. Maybe I have an interest in it. I read BOF. And I thought, okay, let me try and start a blog. It started more for myself, just for me to have some kind of outlet to just be creative. And it surprised me how quickly it started to grow, because it's been a little over a year now.
Wow.
And here I am. And it's great. And I'm a full-time blogger, and I never saw that coming.
Mm-hmm.
I really thought I'd be doing something else right now, but it grew from being just a hobby to a passion, and now my job.
Oh, wow, what an inspiring story. And I'm sure that there are lots of ladies out there who are watching this and wondering, how on earth do I achieve this? Did you have any tips for them?
I think it's consistency. Consistency is key. Mm-hmm. There are days where I wake up in the morning and my progress is not where I want it to be, or things are just slower than they should be, or just, sometimes the pieces don't fall together. Mm-hmm. And you just want to rip your hair out and say, oh, why isn't this working? I don't know what I'm doing. But you just have to take a deep breath. Remember that things have to be low before they can be high. Everything has to be a bit crap before it can be great. And nothing great or worth having is going to be easy.
Yes.
So you have to be consistent. You just have to put your heart into it, no matter how discouraged you feel. Because if you really love it and you put all your work into it, it will pay off eventually.
Well, that's great advice for fashion blogging and for life in general.
Just
probably.
life, yeah.
And definitely for running a business. And I can say this from personal experience.
Yes.
So let's get back to shopping, and a very important topic. So we're based in Shoreditch, and to some, Shoreditch is the hub of fashion in London. To others, it's just too crazy to out there. Where do you stand? Do you have any favorite boutiques around here, or is it just not your style?
I mean, I don't know if I have any favorite boutiques around here, but I definitely have explored the area enough. I tend to just kind of wander into stores and find things. I think the last time I was in Shoreditch, I was in Spitalfields Market, actually. I was around there. And we were just in the market, and we were just walking around, literally no intention of buying anything. And there was just this little stall selling silk bomber jackets. And they were beautiful. Like the fabric, it was just stunning, and the patterns were great, and each one was different. So Shoreditch is great for finding those one-off pieces that you're not going to find anywhere else.
Fantastic.
So I tend to just wander here every now and then when I'm just looking for something that everyone else doesn't have. So in that sense, it's great.
So we saw that you came in today with a camera, so
Yeah.
so will you be wandering around Shoreditch looking for some good shots, some interesting things?
Yeah, potentially. I didn't intend to walk out the door with my camera. It's almost just instinct now. I just kind of grab it as I go, and I'm like, oh, you never know. But I actually tend to use my phone most of the time for photos, which I find is great. My new iPhone is wonderful. But yeah, I probably will wander around now.
And is it an iPhone 7 still, as far as
It is an iPhone 7.
because they've got different camera functionality.
Yeah, and it's really, really good. Like, it's just really great. It's surprisingly great quality. Most of my Instagram shots are from my iPhone.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, by the way, we are not being endorsed by Apple, but
No.
if Apple wants to endorse us, we are happy to accept free Apple products. Well, we certainly are at Style Counsel. So I guess last question, not so much to do with fashion, but just to do with fun. Do you listen to music when you're getting ready?
Yes.
And do you have a favorite playlist on Spotify or Apple?
I'm a big SoundCloud person because I love that SoundCloud has all these remixes of songs, and that they've been remixed and remixed and remixed, and now they're just their own song altogether. Current favorite. I'd say on my playlist right now is Cool Girl by Tavlo, because I love that song. There's an artist called Kiara.
Oh, yeah.
The song Gold.
Yeah,
but she has another song called Feels, which is amazing. And she has a new song that just came out that I need to listen to. I really like her stuff. And there's a great DJ called Jack London. I tend to listen to him a lot when I'm getting ready.
Awesome.
But yeah, I have a SoundCloud playlist that everyone can follow if they would like to. So yeah.
And how can they find it?
Just go onto SoundCloud and type in the Silk Sneaker, and I am there.
And just last question, where can everybody find you? So where are your channels?
My channels are Instagram, I am at the Silk Sneaker. Facebook, I'm also the Silk Sneaker, and my website is thesilksneaker.com.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.